smart gentlemen who wander in here every now and then. I'm Denise Stegall, Menopause Mentor, Longevity Concierge, and your host of the Healthy Living Happy Life podcast. That's me. And today I am here to drop a little bit of a truth bomb. Probably going to ruffle a few feathers. I tend to do that. But stick with me, okay? Because this one, it really matters, right? So I recently got back from visiting my family in England, and I went to visit my one aunt who I haven't seen in quite a few years. I know I'm a bad niece, right? I know that's not the point, but yes, she's 81. Actually, she may be 83, but I'm pretty sure she's 81. She's been legally blind since childhood, and so well, actually, none of that is new. I mean, this is who she is, right? But what's new was how stuck she is now. So yeah, she's been in England her whole life. She's lived in a small apartment or flat, as they say. She's been blind since she was a child, but she could still listen to music. And when she was actually young, she had a job and had a boyfriend. And then as she got into her later, I guess, into her later 20s, something had happened. My grandmother basically had said, you don't need to worry about work. Things were changing. She was a dictaphone operator. And when the technology changed, she basically didn't have a job anymore. And rather than stress out about it, my grandmother basically said, "Oh, we'll take care of you." Not really a great idea, because she basically is stuck in this mindset that somebody will take care of her, right? But now at this stage, she can't see at all. She's completely blind. She doesn't hear very well, but refuses to wear a hearing aid. What is it? Pride? I have no idea. She can barely move. Now, she was never active, very active person. When we were younger, she went shopping. We went on day trips together. Literally, she can't get from her bed to her chair without any help. That's it. That's where she goes, from her bed to the chair. She has absolutely no independence. I can't see any joy in her life. She's in an apartment, which doesn't really matter what it looks like because she can't see it, but it's dark. There's no light that comes in. So what is her life? She's not living. She's just existing. Okay, but here's the thing. She wasn't hit by some huge disease. She doesn't have cardiovascular disease, or there was no huge medical crisis, right? Just to be quite honest, decades and decades and decades of sitting too much, loving sugar way too much, and having way too many cookies, and then brushing off any suggestion about eating a better diet or moving. She was just getting by. She was fine. And it is a bit of a mindset of people of that generation from that part of the world. Um, I'm just finding this with my extended family. Their phrase is, "Oh, never mind." Never mind is, they say it about everything. "Oh, I don't have time to visit you." "Oh, never mind." "Oh, you didn't get the job that you wanted." "Oh, never mind." "Oh, you don't have time to exercise." "Oh, never mind." Right? But that never mind is really a negative mindset. Um, Essentially, now in her life, never mind is full of pills, doctor's appointments, and waiting. Waiting. He's not living. That's I don't even want to say it's surviving, but she's kind of, she's kind of on autopilot. Like, she's breathing, all of the things that your body does naturally. Yeah, she's breathing. She can, go to the bathroom normally, all of those things, right? But that's not living. I got to tell you, it's not what I'm looking for at the end of my life, many, 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 many years from you, and absolutely not what I want for you. Okay? You with me? Okay, good. Well, this doesn't have to be your story, right? This is what hit me. It could be anyone. It could be me, it could be my sister, it could be my mom, it could be you. Sometimes we have to look ourselves in the mirror, am I doing the right things? Am I doing enough of the right things? It's not about being perfect. It's about doing the things that we know are going to keep us healthy for as long as we can, right? Honestly, it could be any of us. If we keep treating our health like I'm going to call it a someday, those of you who are just listening, I'm doing air quotes here, a someday project. Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll eat better next week. Oh, I'll start an exercise program next month. Oh, I'm going on vacation. All the excuses, right? But here's the deal. Your body doesn't care how many people you're taking care of, right? Because that's always an excuse. Oh, I have to take care of my kids, or I have to take care of my job, right? Your body doesn't care, right? Body doesn't care how successful you are, right? You could have the best job in the world and you're loving it and you're making millions of dollars. So what? If you don't have your health, what do you really have? Money to pay for health bills. Ha ha, doctor bills. That's what you have. Um, but it also doesn't care about how long you've ignored the warning signs that I know you are feeling. And if you're going, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, Denise, you're fibbing. You are fibbing. I know this because I started noticing different warning signs when I was 37. Yes, that was perimenopause. And ladies, if you're 40 to 50 to 60, guess what? Menopause is upon you. Perimenopause through, your menopause day, which is like, woohoo, 12 months after my period stops. And then you're postmenopausal, right? Menopause has an effect on every aspect of your body. Okay. Don't kid yourself. Just because you think you feel okay, you feel healthy, does not mean that you are healthy if you're not eating a healthful diet, if you're not moving, if you're not sleeping, all of the things, right? But here's the funny thing too, is your body basically keeps score. It knows how many years you've been eating the standard American diet or we're smoking. Okay. Most of the people that I know don't smoke, haven't smoked, never smoked, but there's enough people my age that I know they did when they were younger. Some still do. And yes, I do believe vaping counts. It's a different type of thing, but yeah, you're still putting something into your lungs that does not belong there, right? But here's the thing too, your body's keeping score and it's collecting interest, my friend. Yes, it is. Whoops, I just fell off my desk. So if you are in your fabulous 40s, your 50s, or your 60s, and you're thinking, it's too late for me. I can't do anything about it now. I'm too old. If you're 50 and you're saying you're too old, lady, you need to talk to me because I got to knock some sense into you. Because truly, what I'm going to say about all of that is I'm too old. It's too late. That's BS. And yes, I do want to say the big word, but I'm not going to say it because I don't know who will flag me. So totally, but it's not too late unless you decide it is. So it's so much of this is mindset. Yeah, you can do anything you want if you set your mind to it. You want to lose 20 pounds? You could do that. You want to run a half marathon? You could do that too. I don't care if you've never run around the block. If you set a goal to do it and you have a plan and you actually work with somebody who knows what they're talking about, yeah, you can do it. So, I call myself the menopause mentor and longevity concierge because obviously they go together, right? As I'm working with people with about menopause symptoms and, kind of dealing with what that is, what havoc that's creating in our body, right? But also once we have those symptoms kind of managed and we know where we're going with that, it really is about longevity and, how long are you going to feel good? What are you going to do in this next phase of life? And it really is not necessarily about the years or the number of years. It really is about the life in those years, right? And yeah, I talk about longevity all the time, probably ad nauseum, right? And but I'm not here to help you to add 20 more years of your life and spend, 10 of them stuck in a recliner yelling at the TV because you dropped the remote, right? And organizing, your, daily medications, right? That doesn't make any sense, right? If we're going to live longer, we actually want to live longer. And I want to help you create that concept of more life in your years, right? With energy, with zest, with confidence, with exuberance, right? Dancing in the kitchen. I do that all the time. It's one of the few times I get to dance anymore. I'm dancing around in my kitchen. Why not? I love life. I love my life. Yeah, a handful of years ago, actually back in July of 2010 was the first time I went to my gynecologist to say, I'm experiencing something, right? And I had a conversation about menopausal symptoms, and she both basically said to me, it's just a phase. Yeah, the long freaking phase. Thank you very much, sister. That was not very helpful, was it? Right? But also, it's about um, well, we all menopause, like, and how well we menopause is going to be the deal, right? So how do we get there, right? How are we going to live, this midlife and beyond, dealing with menopausal symptoms, and all the other things that we don't feel that are happening with menopause, right? So many times I, go back to just the fact that estrogen has over or performs over 300 tasks in your body. If you're estrogen is then dropping. What happens to all 300 of those tasks? That's all declining too, right? So we really need to pay attention to not just the way we physically feel, emotionally, all of those things, but we really need to understand what's going on better in our body. So how do we get there? Okay. Not always easy, definitely simple, right? We know that, dieting, losing weight. Sorry, I said the D word. Sorry, bad word. Losing weight. It's not that, it's simple, but it's not that difficult. We make it so difficult, right? Okay, so the formula is absolutely right here in my book, Healthy Living, Happy Life, a practical path to finding a healthy lifestyle that works for you. Like my nice little plug there. But truly, I wrote this book because the pillars in the book, eat real food, make good decisions, be accountable. These things apply to all of us. For those of us in midlife who are going through menopause, yeah, if you're in midlife, you're going through menopause, whether you feel it or not, right? Um, each of those pillars, now there are definitely subtopics, we'll call them, under eat real food, make good decisions, and be accountable, right? Eat real food, really not that difficult. Right. And, I was at the food co-op the other day, and they have a candy aisle, and they have these healthy gummy bears. Yeah, no, they do not count. They're still candy and they're still sugar. Not to say that you can't have them every now and then, right? But you're not going to be living off of them like we did when we were in junior high school. Okay. Those days are gone. But again, and then at the same time, you don't have to kind of go whole, whole whole hog. Don't do that. Don't do the whole hog, but full kale and quinoa, let's just say overnight, right? This is about slow, steady changes. Um, but if your dinner is regularly coming out of a box or through a drive-through window, then we've got a problem. We really need to talk, because that is not helping you with your menopause. It's not helping you with your weight. It's not helping you with your sleep, and it's not going to help you live live longer with full. I'm trying to say this right. Live a life that is actually full of vitality and actually life. You're not going to be able to do the things you want to do. Easy for me to say, apparently, right? Real food, on the other hand, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, legumes, nuts and seeds, and lean meats and fatty fish, right? Try saying that like 50 times, like in a row. It gets really confusing. Real food gives you energy. Flat there, it said it gives you energy. It gives your body what it needs, the fuel it needs. Same thing, I drive a Mercedes, right? I used to drive a Ford. I love my Ford, but the gas that I used to put in my Ford is not the same gas that I put in the Mercedes, right? Same thing with your body. You only get one, by the way, right? So you might want to take good care of it. It's not like every, 10 years you can buy a new car. Like you buy a new car. You can't buy a new body. Sorry, it just doesn't happen in this day and age, right? Doesn't work. Real food, energy, gives your body what it needs, but also helps to harmonize your hormones. Never going to use the phrase balance your hormones because I don't think they're ever balanced. I think it's more about harmony, that they're working together. It also, real food sharpens your mind. It supports your sleep. And it shrinks your meno belly. Yes, ladies, we all get those, right? But it's mostly years and years of not paying attention to what we're eating. The fact that our estrogen is dropping, which increases our fat storage, and for whatever reason, it goes right to our belly. I know it's really annoying, right? So what do? Start small. Eat some greens, right? Eat your protein. Gosh darn it, right? Healthy protein, green leafy vegetables. Drink your water, right? I have my water here. I always have a glass of water here. Oh, look, it's if for those of you who are watching on video, you can tell I've got like less than a quarter here. Um, I have this filled, this is 16 ounces, like 5 times a day. And that doesn't even include the water I'm drinking when I have my workout drink or my protein shake, right? Sip water like you are living in the Sahara Desert. Okay. You need water. Okay. Another thing, do not starve yourself all day long. This drives me crazy. Oh, I was so busy, I didn't eat all day, and now I'm famished, and I'm going to eat, 3,000 calories in one sitting, right? Come on. This is an adult world. We have to act like adults here, right? It's not like we're teenagers and, we can not eat all day and then go home and, eat a bag of chips and a pound of ice cream, right? At 9 o'clock. Uh, that is not self-control. That is what I would call sabotage. And so many of the issues that we have is ourselves, the number one culprit is us. We're sabotaging ourselves in so many ways. So let's stop doing that, right? That said, I do also want to mention, yes, you can have dessert, right? But it needs to be a choice, right? Not a coping mechanism. I always talk about the 3-bite rule. If you're having a dessert, enjoy the first 3 bites. Savor each bite. Don't just shove it in your mouth and swallow it and go for the next gobble, gobble the next bite, right? Actually, chew it, savor it, taste it. What's the texture? What are the nuances? And enjoy 3 bites like that. And at that point, if one, you're still hungry, and you're still, you want to have a couple more bites, have 2 more bites, right? It's about having a slice of cake, not eating the whole freaking cake, right? There we go. So this also can fall under the make good decisions, but it's separate because eating real food is absolutely where we need to start, no matter what we're trying to accomplish. Okay. So if you are just starting out on this new journey, start with eating real food. Okay. The second pillar, and this is important, make good decisions. Yeah, even when Netflix has got a lot of great things on, that you want to stream. Yeah, that all in time, right? Okay. Every choice adds up. Every single choice you make adds up. But again, it's not about perfection. It's about being a little better. My husband has a t-shirt. I haven't seen it in a while. And it says, I'm better than yesterday, right? He's not claiming that he's amazing, though I believe he is amazing. But each day it's about getting a little bit better, making one more good decision, so to speak. Right? Easy stuff. Take the stairs. Get the second glass of wine, right? Definitely if it messes with your sleep, right? And don't be drinking it at 10 o'clock at night. It's one thing if you're having, a glass of wine with dinner at 5 or 6 o'clock at night. It's a different thing if it's 10 o'clock and you're, at that point where you're getting ready to go to bed, because sleep is important. It's actually essential to be asleep between 10 at night to 2 in the morning. This is when your brain is actually resting and recuperating and doing all the great things that it needs for you to live that healthy, happy life all into your future, right? Okay, so say no to these energy vampires, right? The bad food, food choices, staying up all night, watching Netflix, drinking alcohol too late at night. And hey, I love my wine. I'm a wine. I know that. I'm a wine snob. That's more like it. And I'm never going to stop drinking wine altogether. I am going to stop though, a handful of hours before I go to bed because it's not going to help me sleep. And those people say, oh, I just have it, it helps me sleep. I would beg to differ. I'd actually like for you to monitor that a little bit more. Anyway, so what are we saying yes to instead? We're saying yes to joy. We're saying yes to food that loves us back. We're saying yes to getting a good night's sleep, right? These decisions add up. And then one day they actually become habits. Those habits, they become your health. Simple, right? Not always easy. Simple, small habits, step by step, right? Make those good decisions one at a time. Third part of the book, Healthy Living, Happy Life, is called Be Accountable. And this is about personal accountability. I also like to call it, okay, now it's time to get your head out of the sand. Or the New Yorker and me might want to say, get your head out of something else, but I'm not going to say that on video. Those of you who know me or have an imagination know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, you can have the best intentions, right? But if you're not following through, you're not going to see any results. Of course not, like, right? Accountability isn't about punishment. This is actually your power. Okay. If you hold yourself accountable to something, this is you being you and you doing something for you, for somebody else. Yes, other people are going to benefit, but it's about you. It's giving you the power that you need to reach your goals and to feel good and to really live a life that you enjoy, right? Um, it's basically, looking in the mirror and saying, ha, I'm in charge now, right? Because aren't you in charge? Yes, you are. Even if you don't think so right now, you are in charge. Okay. Hear me say it again. You are in charge. So, another piece, of course, is tracking what matters, noticing your progress, right? If you have a goal and you don't write it down or you don't share it and you don't reach it, it's no big deal, right? Nobody knows. You know. But if you write it down and then you track like how close you're getting, right? I have a client who is right now who's wants to lose like the last 7 pounds. She's already lost quite a bit, but she's at this last 7 pounds. And at one point, she's like, "Oh, I just haven't really been paying attention. I haven't been tracking, la 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 la." And so she's been telling me this about the last 7 pounds for like 3 months now. In 3 months, she should have been able to lose this 7 pounds. But what was happening was she'd had this great success and she felt pretty good about it. She stopped tracking. Not that she stopped caring and that it was not a goal anymore, but she stopped tracking it, right? So if you track your progress, you get closer and closer. And if you start to track and you notice you're backtracking, you go, oh, what do I need to do instead, right? Perhaps you need to get some support. That's what I'm here for, or that's what your BFF is there for, right? Somebody like me actually probably has a little bit more insight and guidance, and it's not personal. When you are working with your best friend, they've known that they know you so well, they don't want to hurt your feelings. Not that I want to hurt your feelings, but I can say something to you that you need to hear in a much different way, and you'll actually accept it in a different way. So seriously, if you want someone who's in your corner, who's strong, a little bit sassy, I have my motives, um, and just the right amount of pushy is not the right word. Um, Support, yes. You want somebody in your corner who's strong and sassy and is going to give you that support. Truly, I'm right here. Okay. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to do any of it alone, right? But you do have to show up for yourself. That is the accountability piece. So don't wait until it's too late. I mean, I love my aunt truly. I mean, it broke my heart to see her um, in this situation because it didn't have to be this way, right? And I refuse to let that be your story. It will never be my story, and it will never be yours either, right? You still have time. You still have choices. You still have fire. I don't care how old you are. You've got the fire in you, okay? But only if you stop sleepwalking through life and ignoring your health. So start caring, start giving a damn, okay? It's not something that you can do next week or next year or wait and wait and wait. No, this is something you need to start today. So, are you ready to choose life? Woohoo, I am. And what I mean again is not just more years, but better years, right? Juicier ones. I like juicy. Ones that feel strong and sexy and full of a lot, fully alive, and feel so good in your own skin, like it did, when you were younger, right? And that's what I want for you. Okay. if that's what you want for you, let's talk. In the show notes, I will put the link to schedule a strategy call with me. It is totally free, no obligation, anything, et cetera, et cetera. Truly, life is not over, my dear. It's just getting good. Okay. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. If this hits home with you, please make sure you send this to a girlfriend who may need a little bit of a nudge. Maybe you need to nudge one another. And let's rewrite what aging looks like together. All right. I'm Denise Stiegel, Menopause Mentor. I will see you next time. Thanks so much, everyone.